Hi class, welcome to the preview lesson of Hope Center Leadership in Schools. Please mark that this lesson should be Hope-Centered Leadership. All right, so today we're going to unpack hope theory and how hope is powerful in leadership, especially within schools. So let's get started. Here is the intended learning outcomes. By the end of today's lesson, we are going to understand the definition and the three elements of hope theory. The second one, we are going to identify the differences between hope and other constructs like optimism, 乐观, self-esteem, 自尊, and self-efficacy, 效能, 自我效能. All right? So number 3, we're trying to understand how hope can be applied to organizational leadership. So this is how we call it hope-centered leadership. Let's get started. So before we start our lesson, I would like you to go around the campus and ask 3 people. You might ask students or staff or anyone you like, as long as they are, on the campus. And please ask them the following question. Number 1, what is your major at MPTU? Number 2, what is your motivation or thought studying this major? All right, so remember, what is your major in MPTU? And number 2, what is your motivation or thought studying this major? You can screen print these 2 questions, and please do take action and to do the interview. All right, so please bring back your answer or their responses and come to class. We'll have some discussion. All right, so this class is about hope and hope theory. And actually, hope theory is central to positive psychology. And it is, followed by Snyder and his colleague in 1991. Actually, Snyder proposed the hope theory in around 1970 somewhere, all right? And later, hope theory was proposed around like 1990s, around 2000, all right? So unlike traditional psychology, which focuses on like correcting weakness or finding the reason why he or she is mentally ill, positive psychology aims to build on more strength, 优势, and helping individuals and communities thrive. So Snyder identifies 3 important components regarding hope. So the first one is goal thinking. So goal acts an anchor for our hope. So this can be like immediate or long-term goal, but must be meaningful to the individual. All right. The second one is pathway thinking. Once the goal is set, you will have created different pathway to the goal. So this involves identifying pathways to achieve the goal and finding alternative routes when obstacles arise. Number 3, agency thinking. Agency is the motivation. So how you desire to pursue those pathways. So it is the inner drive that pushes you to persist, even when the way forward is really tough or difficult. So let's recap goal thinking. So goals are mental anchor of hopeful thoughts. So hope could be small or large. They may involve like objectives. Okay, so it could be like small goal or big goal. All right. So any goal needs to has its own value. So that's why you desire to achieve the goal. And the second one is pathway thinking. Okay, so when you set a goal, you develop different routes to reach the goal. So sometimes high hope people, if they encounter difficulties, for example, this is the goal, and I'm now, just cut off the pathway. So I will derive some like possibilities on my mental muscle to create alternative pathway to reach the same goal. But as for low hope people, they were just stuck there, and they will think themselves as a loser. They will keep trying the same pathway and keep, just being rejected. So try to be more open to some other possibilities that will help us to create more flexible routes toward the goal. And agency thinking is really important. Sometimes we think because the goal is what we really want, so we have the desire that to reach the goal. However, sometimes the agency thinking is fluctuated, 是移动的,飘动的. Sometimes we feel like, yes, we got really strong motivation, but we could feel down sometimes and feel like we got like powerless. We can do nothing toward a goal. So agency thinking is like the motivation, how we pursue, like how we convince ourselves to pursue the power to reach the goal. And sometimes we will have like willpower, 意志力, to force ourselves toward a goal. But how to sustain a goal, that is always the question. So think about that. How do we sustain the motivation toward the goal? And we will have some more discussion in class. All right, I will skip this video and we will talk about it in class. All right, so there are three components of hope theory. The first one is goals. The second one is pathway. And the third one is the willpower agents. Make some distinction from hope. Let's make some distinction of hope and other construct. So we will distinguish hope from optimism, 乐观, hope from self-esteem, 自尊, and hope from self-efficacy, 自我效能. Okay? So this is what we learned already, right? So we know hope has three main pillars, 三大支柱, which is goals, pathways, and willpower. All right? But what about optimism? So sometimes we will think that optimism people, they are hopeful. 他们是很有希望感的. All right? So what do you think? Actually, optimism is related to hope, but it's not conceptually distinguished from hope. Optimism involves the perceived ability to move toward a goal with a value outcome, and sometimes people will avoid some undesirable pathway. So optimism actually look for the bright side of the goal, and it will keep saying that we are not going to worry about it. Everything will be okay. But without any efforts, optimistic people will say, well, tomorrow will be another bright day. I don't have to do anything, and I keep thinking that tomorrow will be a brighter or will be a better day. Okay, so optimism is more like the person do not try to make any effort, but keep, being hopeful for a desirable goals to come. Sometimes they will avoid those that are undesirable. All right? And However, in hope theory, when hopeful people setting goals to attain a positive future outcome, and they did or they do work harder, they set possible pathway, and they produce higher motivation. So they work harder. Hopeful people work harder toward the goal. However, optimistic people might not do anything, but still looking for the brighter future to come. The second construct that we have to distinguish from hope is self-esteem. Self-esteem is a concept that involves goal-directed thinking. So it is the goal there, but it stems from the successful pursuit of valued objective. All right, so it is more introspective. All right, so as a crucial distinction between hope theory and the model of self-esteem lies in the foundation of self-esteem, which is rooted in individuals' assessment of their life concerning value activities. So they will think that if I got recognition saying that, oh yes, Michelle, you are the number one, in this midterm, and you got 100 in Michelle's midterm exam, you are amazing. So, as Michelle, I just feel like, wow, yes, I'm wonderful. I'm an amazing person. So I got recognized because I get what I want. This kind of assessment recognize my efforts, right? However, in hope theory, hopeful people concentrate not on the results of the goals, but on the process of setting and pursuing the goal to achieve positive outcome. All right, so this is the most different part between self-esteem and hope. All right, so in self-esteem, people create a subjective evaluation of their own competence and worth. However, hopeful people do not focus on that. Hopeful people care about how much effort they devoted themselves during the process of goal setting and goal pursuing. Number 3, we learn self-efficacy, 自我效能. Actually, this construct was proposed by Bandura in 1977, and it is a cognitive concept that becomes very active, nowadays. So, self-efficacy, 自我效能感, aligns with hope theory, and they think it's closer to agency, 意志力或是主动驱力，我把它翻译成主动驱力。好 all right. However, self-efficacy is a belief in one's ability to accomplish the specific goal. 我有能力做到。But hope extends beyond self-efficacy by integrating emotional resilience and motivation to navigate obstacles. Self-efficacy is really close to hope theory's agency. However, hopeful people actually are more motivated, and even though they encounter some difficulties during the process, they create the resilience, 韧性, to cope with difficulties, to produce resilience in themselves. All right, so now please recap what are the 3 elements of hope theory and how hope is different from optimism, self-esteem, and self-efficacy. Please write it down in the handout or write down some keywords so that we can have some discussion in class. Alright, so this is the final slide in the preview video. Hope's role in leadership. So according to Ludema in 1997, okay, 4 characteristics were proposed as the foundation of understanding Hope's role in leadership. So the first one is born in relationship, very important. Sometimes we think that we can produce hope, but the result tells us hope flourishes in connection with others. So you have to find out the network for yourself so that you can keep producing hope. Number second, influenceable future. So hope leaders sees the future as malleable, as changeable. So it's fluctuated and it's hard to control. So the quality of hope in leadership is that you have to cope with changes every day. Number 3, sustained by high ideals. You have to set a high goal. So hopeful people foster like dialogues around big picture of goals. We call that vision, V-I-S-I-O-N, 愿景. Number 4, hopeful people will generate hopeful actions, or what we call positive actions. So hope people drive constructive, goal-oriented behavior. They will take actions. They will not just staying there doing nothing, like optimistic people avoid some undesirable pathway. They will just do it. And if they got stuck, they will try to find some alternative pathway and, get rid of the bugs. So you can think of the goal and you can try to have your own big picture in life. And I will see you in class. Remember to do the exercise, ask 3 people and write it down, the responses. I will see you later. Bye-bye.